The darkness continues.
Peace, folk, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Well, I'm back with another. And yeah, folk, the darkness does continue. As y'all know, man, I keep bringing y'all this court stuff, man, because I just think it's very interesting. And today we are in the courtroom of the Honorable Jessie Lall, and she's a pretty fair judge, but I think at times as a judge, she's put in a position to where she has to do social work. I brought y'all one of these before, and I talked about justice and social work, or social justice work. And I think in these particular cases that I'm about to show y'all in a minute, I think these people need Judge Lall to manage their lives. Obviously, these people's lives are out of control, and it requires managing. But I don't believe that a judge or the justice system should be managing your life. I believe criminal justice has a place in this society. I just don't believe that place is in the life management department. But I'm going to show you these cases, and you can just see for yourself, come to your own conclusions. So, without further delay, let's get at it. And as always, fair use, Negroes. Fair use. Well, all right. As stated, we are back in the courtroom of the Honorable Jessie Lall, and we're going to look at how the justice system is forced to manage people's lives, unfortunately. But let's get at it. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Position 4, Mr. James.
This is State versus Dion James, accused of battery on December 11th, 2022. Okay, Mr. James, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Wright. Your accusation number for this case is 23 CR 000103G. Ms. Duncan, are you aware if the co-defendant, the alleged co-defendant, is also arrested, or is it just Mr. Dion James right now?
I'm not aware. As from what I know right now, it's just Mr. Dion James.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Roberts, any priors on Mr. Dion James?
I'm showing one prior arrest from Fairburn from November of 2022 for entering auto, purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. And that case appears to be open. There's no disposition listed.
And you said that was in Fairburn. Do you know if it's an open CP case with Fulton County?
I looked in Odyssey. I didn't see one.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Duncan, I'm familiar with the terms of the warrant in terms of Antoine Hollins and so forth. What's the state's recommendation for bond?
And Your Honor, that case is in fact open. It's 22 CP 213798.
Now, I want to stop it here because that lady that you see pop up in the top, that's pretrial services, right? And they supposed to have all of this in front of them. But it always seems like the Solicitor General always has to come in and fill in the gaps. So I wonder, why are these people even here? I mean, if the judge has to ask them about this person's priors and what cases they have and they don't know, why are they here? Because the Solicitor General ends up reading it out anyway. They always end up filling in the damn gaps that they leave. So these are people who are getting paid basically for nothing. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Okay.
What I saw this morning, the state's recommendation for bond in this case is a $3,000 surety. No further contact with the victim in this case. Mr. Hollins to stay away from the incident location, which is a laundromat, and wherever the victim in this case resides. 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, in this case, we do have some concerns about the risk of reoffending given the relationship between the parties. The defendant is the son of this victim's ex-girlfriend, according to.
Now, this dude is the son of whoever he battered, because he's in there for battery. Whoever he battered, he's the son of this person's ex-girlfriend. So he beat up his mother's ex-boyfriend, allegedly. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
The
warrant, yeah.
The warrant, yes. And then we have some concerns about intimidation here because the victim in this case made initial statements to the officers about what happened when they notated his visible injuries. And when we spoke to him this morning, he did recant that statement.
Yeah, he retracted because he might have threatened him, or his old mammy might have threatened him. Who knows? But we continue.
About the identification. However, he kept the other details the same. So we do have some concerns about intimidation given the relationship between the parties, and given his open case, Your Honor, there's that risk of offense. So given the nature of the injuries to the victim, we request that $3,000 surety with the other conditions as stated on record. Nothing further.
And he's what, 17?
He's 17. He's 17. He's got all this other stuff on his jacket. He's got open cases for selling dope, breaking into cars, all this kind of foolishness. And now he's right back in here again. Because, see, he got arrested on that stuff before. And now he's sitting in here again because he beat up his mother's ex-boyfriend. I don't know, man, but it looks like this young man just might be a degenerate. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes. Okay.
Judge Lall.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just looked up that case number. It's up under a different booking, and I noticed he's on pretrial, so we're going to surrender that bond.
And what's the amount of that pretrial bond?
It was a UJR, so there's no amount.
Okay, there's no amount. Okay, thank you.
A UJR, good folk, is an unsecured judicial release, is what that is, I believe. An unsecured judicial release, meaning he got out because he's a kid, technically. That's what that is. And I want y'all to look around, man, and notice, because usually when I bring y'all these cases, right, and it's a person who happens to be a minor, you will see their mother there. If not in the courtroom, on the Zoom call itself. You don't see that here. You don't see that here. Even them old mamas who come in and try to defend their son's foolishness, they're usually here. Notice this young man, there's no one here. There's no one. And being that he's 17, even if he gets a signature bond, which Judge Lall is apt to give him because that's what she gives minors, he won't be able to get out unless an adult comes and co-signs for him. But nobody's here. That may say something about him, but it also says something about the people who are, quote unquote, raising him. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You're welcome.
If y'all are coming off the UJR, that means then he has no bond in that case at present. Would that be correct?
It will be no bond
It would
because
be
it's
no
going to
bond
be
then.
the sale of marijuana was a UJR. The other one was a $5,000 good bond.
It was a $5,000.
Good bond for the
Good
interim
bond.
auto, and then
I
the sale of
see.
marijuana was pre-trial.
I see. Okay. All right. Ms. Wright?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just want to make sure that everything is in order.
The open felony case, 22 CP 213798. What I've just been informed is that he had a UJR, a judicial release bond on the marijuana charge, monitored by pretrial. Due to this new arrest, they're coming off that bond, but there's no amount set. So
Right.
I'm uncertain whether he's in a no bond status for that marijuana charge.
Well, he probably is, because being that it was a UJR, I'm pretty sure the conditions were not to get arrested again, Negro. So they probably have revoked that. All right. That's probably been revoked. But I say again, Judge Lall usually lets these juveniles, these minors, she usually lets them out with a signature bond, even if she puts it up, to $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. All he has to do is have a parent come down and co-sign, and he's out the door. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
With
Right.
regards to the other charge, entering an auto, he has a $5,000 surety bond, which he made at the time of his release. So, but now we're talking about this new case.
Right. So, Your Honor, Mr. James denies that he was there at all. He is still in high school. He is on his way to graduate. He also has a job with Chick-fil-A, which he does after school. There is animosity between his mom and the complaining witness, but it doesn't have anything to do with him. He's 17 years old.
It does have something to do with him. That's why he's arrested. That's why he's arrested. So they arrested him for beating up mom's ex-boyfriend, but he has nothing to do with it. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. And look around. Like I said, guess who's missing? His old mama. And he probably did what he did at her behest. But she's not here. She's not on the Zoom call. Because she knows she's raising a degenerate. And she doesn't care. That's why she's not there. So now the criminal justice system has to manage this boy's life. And it'll probably be managing it for the next few years. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Whatever kind of bond, Your Honor, we would ask that it be a signature bond. He just can't, he would never be able to make it, especially with the bond being revoked on his other cases. We just ask that you take his age and his ability to make decisions for himself into consideration for.
Seems like he's perfectly capable of making decisions for himself. He's breaking into cars. He's locked up for manufacturing and distributing marijuana. He's in here for battery. Sounds like a person who knows how to make decisions for themselves to me. But we continue.
Bond. As far as the stay away, I'm not sure. I would object to just a general stay away from wherever this person resides. I would ask that the state give us an address so that my client knows exactly where he's able to stay away from.
Oh, the laundromat?
Yeah, we're
I know there
asking,
was an address.
No, I think did the state ask for stay away from wherever the victim lives?
Yeah, wherever he happens to be, whether it's in his home, employment, so he has to keep a
Just
200
stay
yard
away
buffer.
from, right,
Yeah,
so stay away from
200
the
yard buffer.
person.
Right.
Okay.
But, okay, anything else, Ms. Wright?
Not right now, Your Honor.
All right. With regards to Mr. Dion James, the bond is set at $7,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services.
Told you. Now, $7,500 is a pretty good sized bond, because remember, this is misdemeanor court. These are misdemeanors. All right, $7,500, that's up there. But guess what? Only thing that has to happen is his old mama got to come down there and sign, and he's out the door. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
I need his mother, Denisa James, Denisa James.
Where is Denisa? Why ain't she on the damn Zoom call? Strange. But we continue.
To co-sign the bond. She has to come down to the pretrial services and bring a government issue ID as well as a utility statement with regards to where she and Mr. Dion James lives. The address on the statement must match the address on her ID. So that's very important. And she can co-sign for the bond. Mr. Dion James has stayed 200 yards away from Antoine Hollins. He's not to communicate with Mr. Hollins in any way, form, or manner. And it would be a good thing to stay away from the laundromat as well. I honestly don't remember the address, but
it's in the it's in the report, Your Honor. I remember seeing it.
2216 Godby Road.
Okay, in Atlanta, Georgia. All right.
That's right, boy. Don't be listening to your old mama. Leave that man alone, or your ass be right back here. Well, you'll probably be there for a while anyway, because it don't look like old mama is interested in what's going on with you right now. She doesn't seem to be interested. But we continue.
Furthermore, Mr. Dion James is subject to a 24/7 curfew. He can only step out of the home for school, for medical attention, to attend court or speak to his attorney, for work, and for church. Any other reason that he's outside of the home wandering around would be a tantamount to a violation of this signature bond. He now has an open felony case and an open state court case.
Open felony case, open state court case. He's 17. Yeah, off to a really good start, young fella. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And he's only 17 years old, which is not a great start. So hopefully, if he stays home, maybe we can curb the addition of any future cases.
Good luck with that, Your Honor. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Hopefully he does what the court is ordering him to do. We'll see. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
All right. So I understand that we've not had an arrest in the co-defendant, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll take that up when that happens. Okay. Thank you. Next.
Judge Lall,
Yes.
did you not want me to surrender the bond since you're putting him back on pretrial?
Yeah, thank you, young fella, for showing us how the justice system has to manage your life. Because your damn parents ain't, or should I say, parent, singular, and I use the term loosely because I say again, this boy is arrested for beating up his mother's ex-boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. You trying to tell me that mama didn't have nothing to do with this? And I say again, she can't manage his life. So Judge Lall has to do it. Negroes. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You know what? I'm going to reinstate that signature bond on the UJR, please.
And the state would just mark our
Objection noted. Yes,
Oh,
objection
you're
noted.
reinstating on the signature bond, but there is a signature. Was there a second bond for 5,000?
That's a surety bond, and that's not forfeited from the arrest. He made that bond.
Okay.
And also, the bond hasn't been surrendered yet, so his bond will still stand.
Okay, we'll keep it there, but he'll need to make sure that he reports to pretrial and, well, one more arrest, and then, well, someone has to come up with $7,500 to.
Yeah, one more arrest. Somebody got to come up with $7,500. And his mama probably broke. So he'll be sitting in there. But we continue.
Is it possible? It's a CP case, so I don't have jurisdiction to modify that bond.
You're talking about the signature bond?
Yeah.
It's still
The UJR.
a signature bond. The bond hasn't been surrendered.
Notice he's gone and they still talking about his case. You know, they're to manage his life. Well, can we do this with the bond? Is it this kind of bond? Is this going to happen? We need to reinstate this and do that. And I mean, it sounds like he's got 4 and 5 mamas on the screen, but none of them his biological mother. None of them his biological mother. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Okay, so let's leave it as it is then. Thank you.
But he currently does have an FTA letter sent out because he hasn't been reporting, so he might have a bench warrant soon.
You hear that? He got out and he hasn't even been reporting to the people who gave him the unsecured judicial release. He hasn't even been reporting to it. Do you really expect him to abide by the curfew? Do you really expect him to not get arrested again? But we continue.
We would just ask that the court will allow the Superior Court or
Yeah.
the magistrate to rule on that matter.
Yeah, all I'm doing is reinstating the UJR because he's still going to be reporting pretrial, but he has other fish to fry in Douglas County. So,
Just for the record, I do believe these offenses occurred close in time. So
I agree. I agree. Okay, moving on. Who do we have in courtroom 1? Is that Mr. Lightsey?
Yeah, ma'am.
All right. This is Carlos Maurice Lightsey, accused of battery, domestic violence from January 6, 2023. Mr. Lightsey's case number is 23CR 0000104H. Mr. Lightsey, okay. Yes, I'm familiar with his other new case in which he had just been released on January 5th, 2023.
Now, this dude was just released. He was just released like 2 days ago. He just got out of jail 2 days ago. He's back. Right back. Sitting in the same room in front of the same judge. All right? And he's no minor. He's a grown-ass man. He gets out of jail. He's right back 2-3 days later. This is a person that requires life management. Even with his grown man ass. He can't manage his own life. Therefore, Judge Lall has to do it for him. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
What's your bond recommendation? I'm going to dispense with the pretrial report. I'm familiar with Mr. Lightsey's criminal history record. Ms. Duncan, what?
The judge is familiar with his criminal history. That's how soon it's been since he was before her. Yeah, she's familiar with it. Because she just saw him a couple days ago. We continue.
The bond recommendation?
State's recommendation in this case is 5,000 surety, no further contact with the victim in this case. Third-party child contact if they have children together. Stay away from the victim.
Latasha Robinson. She is on the Zoom, I believe. I thought I saw that in the chat, but
Yes.
there she is. Okay. All right. You'll need to start your video if you'd like to say anything. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Duncan?
One day anger awareness. No.
Now, I want y'all to peep something. Pay close attention to the center square. And I don't mean these crazy braids hanging off this woman's head. Now, the judge did pronounce her name Latasha, right? But look at how it's spelled up there. Latahsa. Latasa. Now, I'm pretty sure her name is not Latasa. So we can only surmise, brothers, she spelled her own name wrong. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Robinson, if you wanted to contribute to this hearing, I'll need to place you under oath. Would you like to say something?
Yes.
All right. Please raise your right hand. The other right hand.
I'm sorry.
The other right hand. I don't know. I don't know what they expect from somebody who can't even spell their own name right on the goddamn Zoom call. All right. Of course she's connected to somebody who just got out of jail 2 days ago and right back in front of the same judge. And look down in the lower right-hand corner. Look at the public defender. The public defender is like, Jesus, this girl is a freaking idiot. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
Thank you. What would you like to say?
I know you said something about no contact, but we actually live together, and we're in the process of living together. I'm going through an agency named Annie's.
We actually live together, or we're in the process of living together. Which is it? Which is it? But look at them braids hanging off of her damn head. You can't tell me those are not crazy woman braids. You notice how they have those crazy looking braids, and some of them look broke off, and it looked like, they had like some extensions in their hair, but they had it in there so long that they just start to decompose and fall out. They just start decomposing and start falling out. They've been in there so goddamn long. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And they're in the process of getting us a place to stay. But I was going to advise that I don't know if he wants to continue the relationship, but I was trying to see if both of us could take anger management. Where
I don't know if he wanted to continue the relationship, but I was in the process of getting both of us. What are you talking about? Why are you even up here? Why? And look down in the lower left-hand corner. The Solicitor General. Look at the look on her face. She's like, Jesus, this chick is making black holes look bad. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
In this class and a domestic violence class together to work on our relationship.
All right, that's something that is very, very personal, and I'm afraid my court is not equipped to handle personal matchmaking matters.
Her court is not equipped to handle personal matchmaking matters. Crazy lady. Why are you even up here? I mean, I was wondering if you could, give us, some counseling so we can, work on that relationship that I'm not sure he wants to continue as we live together or try to live together. Like, not only is the justice system put in a position where they have to manage his life, she gets on the damn Zoom and wants the justice system to manage her life too. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
But right now I can only consider
Because the argument was about somebody came and borrowed some of his stuff, and I didn't know he didn't say they couldn't borrow it. So it just escalated from there.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Ms. Wright, do you have anything else to add?
Your Honor, the bond is currently set at 2,500 surety bond. We would ask that it would not be raised from that. I understand that Mr. Lightsey has a history, but clearly in this specific instance, Ms. Robinson is not afraid of Mr. Lightsey. She doesn't want a no contact order. We would ask for a 5,000 signature bond on this case. And if they want to, take steps to improve their relationship, that's certainly encouraged, but we wouldn't ask that it be court mandated.
And look at her. She's steady talking. She is steady talking while all this is going on. But we continue.
Really
Please mute Ms. Latasha Robinson. Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Wright?
No, Your Honor.
Bond shall remain at $2,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Latasha Robinson.
Which is probably a good idea because she looked like she's an old dope fiend. Yeah, you might want to stay away from her, brother. She's the reason why you're back up in there. And she seems a bit confused. Stay away from her. You just got out of jail 2 days ago. And now you're right back locked up, dealing with somebody who can't even spell their own damn name right. Come on, brothers. Come on, brothers. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
He's to stay 200 yards away from Ms. Robinson, not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. If Ms. Robinson initiates contact with Mr. Lightsey, whether through a phone, through a third party, that could risk Mr. Lightsey being placed in a no bond status. He's to also stay away from the incident location. And actually, quite frankly, I did not write that down. So, Ms. Duncan, if you have the incident location.
What I have is 259 Richardson Street, Southwest.
Okay. Mr. Lightsey, you're not to consume any alcohol, no drugs, and no firearms.
You better stay the hell away from her, because I'm pretty sure she's got plenty of that around. Plenty of alcohol and plenty of dope. But we continue.
This bond amount is not a reflection on Ms. Robinson or anything with her desire to reunite with Mr. Lightsey. This bond is simply a reflection of Mr. Lightsey's likelihood to reoffend. He was just released from jail on January 5th, and this incident occurred on January 6th, within 24 hours. So
it wasn't even 2-3 days. It was 1 day. I misheard. Yeah, this brother needs life management. Yeah, he needs life management. You get out of jail today, you're right back tomorrow. Boy, I tell you. But we continue.
Court is very, very concerned with Mr. Lightsey's ability to not reoffend. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next court date is January 19th.
Next, we have.
He waved by. I mean, looking at this woman in the center square here. Of course, he got locked up again. He's hanging out with a woman who can't even spell her own damn name. How you spell your own name wrong and not even notice it, like put it up there and be like, oh, my name's spelled wrong, and take it down and spell it right. Nope, just let it stay up there spelled wrong the whole time. And when she comes up there looking for life management too. She wants life management, requesting it. Oh, can you please give us counseling? Really? And you wonder why brothers' lives turn out the way they do. They're always going to turn out this way, man. When you're dealing with women like the ones you see in the center square. But we're going to skip to the next case. Now, this case here, and as you can see, the Solicitor General here is this dude, Ian Walker. He kind of reminds me of, one of the homosexuals that be on the reality TV shows. That's kind of that's kind of what he reminds me of. And I think he's one of the higher ups in the office. I think he's like a supervisor or something. So, he's kind of up there. But you'll see for yourself how this dude acts. I think he's worse than the female solicitor generals. I think he is. I think he holds brothers particularly in contempt, because I've seen him before, and he deals with brothers who are defendants, accused of alleged crimes. He treats them a little different than he does women. But let's continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Lowe's case is 23 CR 00097C. Accused of criminal trespass at a Chevron Food Mart.
Okay, here we go with another damn criminal trespass. Now, most of the time when people get these criminal trespasses, they usually homeless, man. They sleeping in a train station. They sleeping in a McDonald's. They sleeping in a gas station bathroom. They done been told to leave. They tell them to leave, and they freaking come back for some reason. But we continue.
On January 6, 2023. Mr. Lowe, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Anna Wright. Any priors, Miss Roberts?
Yes, 48 cycles.
48. He's been arrested 48 times. Ay, ay, ay. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
His last arrest was December 18th of 2022 for possession and use of drug-related objects.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Walker, what's your bond recommendation?
So I believe he has a bond in place already that was assigned with the warrant, which is a $600 surety. We'll just ask for that to remain in place, along with a stay away from the incident location, which is the Chevron Food Mart located at 970 Spring Street. He was asked to leave and he refused.
Miss Wright.
Didn't I tell you? Like one of those homosexuals on a reality TV show. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Right. Any objection to a $500 surety bond?
Your Honor, we would ask that it be a signature bond. He's a homeless person who needs help.
He's a homeless person. He needs help. But they just said he just got arrested. What was that? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? For possession of drug paraphernalia. if he's homeless, why the hell he's able to secure drug paraphernalia? How is he able to do that? He's a homeless person. He's managed to be arrested 48 times, but somehow, even though he's homeless, 3 weeks ago, he was just arrested for having drug paraphernalia. Odd. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Understood, but it's tough with the significant cycle. Bond is set at 500. It's a surety bond. Next court date is January 19th. And stay away from the Chevron at 970 Spring Street, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Stay out of that gas station bathroom smoking meth or crack or shooting heroin or whatever the hell you doing. Quit letting the criminal justice system manage your damn life. But they say he's homeless, but he looks pretty damn clean for a homeless person. I don't know if y'all can tell, but for a homeless person, he looks pretty cleanly dressed. His hair don't look muffled and disheveled. His clothes don't look dirty. I mean, he must be a different level of homeless. Yeah, he must be a different level of homeless. But we continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 8, Mr. Reyes.
So now I'm about to hit y'all in the head with T.P.O.T's bonus clip. Yeah, it's time for a bonus clip because you know I always got one in there for y'all. This particular case right here is like kind of lighthearted. You'll see it in a minute, but yeah, I just figured I'd throw this in here, man, just for the hell of it. So we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Mr. Reyes has been accused of criminal trespass at the at the Atlanta student Ashley Scholar Landing Apartments.
Another homeless person. Criminal trespass usually translates to being homeless. Unfortunately. But we continue.
On January 6, 2023. Mr. Reyes, your case, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. St. Flex. And
what the hell is going on with the public defender's camera? It's usually the Solicitor General who has this badass camera up there looking like a character off of Elden Ring or something. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
How many cycles on his record, Miss Roberts, and his last one?
5 cycles, but 6 including this arrest. His last arrest was from October of 2022, and he has an open case from that case, 22 CP 213473 for possession of marijuana and carrying a weapon within school safety zone. He has an FTA also from 2022.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. The state will be requesting a $500 surety bond along with a stay away from 701 Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard. As you're aware, this is student housing. This defendant has been given a criminal trespass notice prior to this incident. There's been several incidents that occurred prior to yesterday's incident. So we are asking for that $500 surety along with.
So he's been criminally trespassed from the same place multiple times. I can never say this enough, man. Why are you getting arrested for criminal trespass from the same place multiple times? Fine, they trespass you out of there. Even if you come back, it becomes criminal trespass. That's that one time. Why are you back there over and over and over and over and over? Why? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Stay away from the instant location, and obviously with it being student housing, we do have a concern for the student safety.
All right. Ms. St. Plex, have you had a chance to read the warrant?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Any objection to a $500 surety under some circumstances?
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a signature bond based on the circumstances. He's informed me that he actually was living with someone who was in that building. One of the people who was.
Well, how was he living there and he done been criminal trespass from the place multiple times? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. He was living there, but he's been trespassed from there multiple times. But we continue.
In the rooms upstairs that he stated in the warrant that he stayed at was a friend, but he informed me that he didn't want to go and stay in the house sometimes, so he would just stay in the lobby. And so we don't.
Oh, so he was living with somebody in an apartment, but he didn't want to stay inside of there, so he just decided to crash in the lobby instead. And he's crashed in there so many times that he's gotten criminal trespass arrest. This doesn't make any sense, but we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Believe that his intent was to criminal trespass on the property, although I have talked to him about not being able to return to that location. He is a student at Clark Atlanta, and he is currently working as a barber on the side when he is not in his classes. So we would just ask for a signature bond so he can return back to school. If the court is not inclined to give a signature bond, we would ask for $1,000 surety. $1,000 surety bond, because for 500, 600, sometimes it's tougher for them to be released with the bonding company with those bonds. So we would just ask for $1,000.
And it's important to know, Your Honor, that he was previously criminally trespassed from this location before. As far as they know, he is not a resident nor a student. And if he is a barber, a $500 surety bond, which is $50, that's one haircut. So
I'm actually with homosexual reality guy, Solicitor General on this one. Like, you've been criminal trespass from this same place multiple times. So it's hard to believe that you're a student and or a resident of that dorm. Especially when you got the damn public defender saying, oh, sometimes he just doesn't want to sleep in the house. So, he sleeps in the lobby. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Who asked that the $500 surety is granted?
The folks, bond is set at $1,000 surety bond.
Okay.
Next court date is January 19th, 2023. And January 19th, if we get the identity of this particular person who gave safe haven to Mr. Reyes on that time of vacation, apartment number, and if he shows up and testifies, I'm sure we can revisit his bond amount. And so his next court date is January 19th. And it's nice to know how much Mr. Walker pays for his haircuts as well. So
yeah, it's nice to know that. But yeah, man. And look at the court reporter guy. He trying to hide his smirk. He's smirking too, the guy in the top left. But yeah, man, we're gonna cut it there, man. I mean, it's crazy, man, that Judge Lall has to manage these people's lives, man. Their lives have to be managed by the criminal justice system, man. And it's actually pretty sad when you think about it. Because a lot of these people, man, that come through here, man, it's, of course, they're accused, they're innocent until the state can prove them guilty. All right? Yes. But they are accused of these crimes, but it often seems like These are just people, man, who just can't get their act together. These people can't get their act together. Therefore, the lack of getting their act together rises to the level of criminality. And once it rises to the level of criminality, they find themselves under arrest, find themselves in jail, find themselves in front of a judge. And, you know, I know that some judges can be tough. I do a lot of this stuff. I watch a lot of this stuff. But some of these judges actually deal out their justice with a bit of humanity. Now, Judge Lall is pretty much a fair judge most of the time, but she's quite a bit tougher than the other judges. And if something comes in front of her that's like ridiculous, that's when she kind of gets tough. Because let's be honest here, man, a lot of this stuff is just ridiculous. You got people who just got out of jail yesterday. They right back. They got the old dope head girlfriend on here talking ridiculous. You got youngsters, teenagers, locked up multiple times. It ain't even a parent on the Zoom call to see what's going on. You got freaking dudes who had multiple criminal trespasses, locked up 40 times, 50 times. I mean, these are people who can't manage their own lives. So guess what? That lack of management of their life gets them here. And now the Honorable Judge Lall has to do it for them. And that is a tragedy. But that's all. I appreciate you good folks, man, coming through, man, spending some time here. You could have spent your time anywhere. You decided to spend it here with T.P.O.T. And it is appreciated. I don't take you good folk lightly, man. I never have and I never will. You got my word on that. So, with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words, you know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folk. X with another.
The darkness continues.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your minds.